Welcome back. We're here, episode 491 from memory, maybe even 92 by now. Let's see. I know it's a lot of episodes. So tonight is really about AI, right? And how AI can be used in a way to not only enhance business, but to create a model that is highly regenerative, sustainable. And for me, it's quite interesting because maybe you're like me, and I remember when AI first came out where you used to just breathe the word AI and 10 million bucks would arrive from somewhere, right? I'll fund it. And then we went through the stage of people realizing that it's a very new technology. Not everyone knows what they know. And basically, you know, there was a lot of trial and error in the beginning, but now we reached the stage where it's become very much more specific. And we have projects which are very project specific using AI for certain purposes. So tonight, you know, is about crowdsourcing. Let's have a look. So let me give you a bit of a description about tonight's episode. So now, as you know, the title is How AI and Crowds Transform Ideas and Events. So this episode is all about how AI-powered validation and Web3-based crowdfunding are opening the door for a new wave of innovation. Strategic partners, investors, creators, and early adopters are all invited to connect with the SuperVotes movement. So sitting next to me, a long-time old friend, Simon Smaluhn, founder of SuperVotes, or Favors now, as we call it. Simon is a founder of Favors, an AI-powered crowdsourcing platform, and obviously a protocol that combines AI social listening, community validation, as I turn the page so delicately, and on-chain funding. Now, communities can propose ideas, test demand with SuperVotes, and pre-fund projects through milestone-based escrow. Favors brings together AI agents, tokenized incentives, and Web3 infrastructure to de-risk innovation and accelerate adoption. Whether launching startups, AI agents, or Web3 projects, Favors enables the crowd to validate what deserves to exist before time and capital are wasted. Now, as I mentioned before, Favors is reimagining innovation from Asia to the world. And tonight's 3 takeaways, I'm sure there's going to be more, include the power of the crowd, how collective intelligence validates and funds what matters, AI times Web3, why intelligent insights and on-chain funding changes the rules, and the Favors effect, a new way to launch AI agents, startups, and Web3 projects. Now, what else can I tell you? We've got some other highlights here, which I'll briefly go through. AI social listening, on-chain crowdfunding, challenges and bounties, Telegram mini app, Gamified engagement, AI agent, and SDKs. Now, most of you will probably know what the hell I'm talking about. Well, tonight you're going to find out what it is. So my name is Robert Ian Bonnick. As you know, I'm the host and founder of SpeakuP Monday. And look, this is now, I think, episode, as I mentioned, 492. We presided over about 2,500 events, hosted, as I mentioned, almost 500 SpeakuP Monday episodes. We're #1 for entrepreneurship and social impact in Indonesia, and co-created initiatives endorsed by the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy of Indonesia, obviously, Bali Tourism Promotion Boards, Founder Institute Bali, Startup Grind, and many more. So round of applause for that long introduction. Santa Margarita, round of applause, please. Thank you. Woo. All right, so as I always say when I'm interviewing you, because I'm so impressed by it, so Simon has been instrumental in this technology field here in Bali. Why? So Simon was the first person, you can sit down there, you can walk around and make your way. Thank you very much, good to see you. So Simon was the first person to bring blockchain to the largest stage in Indonesia, which is Trade Expo Indonesia, which is the largest trade expo in Indonesia. And we're going back a few years now. And I remember he asked me to host it from stage, which I did, and thank you for that. But it was very powerful because, you know, that was, you know, how blockchain can empower industry on an Indonesian level, on a level of government as well as private sector. So I think that was very powerful. he was also the first person who was able to this is kind of sensitive, but I guess he's not a president anymore, so it's okay. He was the first person who was able to provide me with an invitation to meet Jokowi. Which again, you've been a person, Simon, that's always managed to find his way, who, for me, you've taken risks. And that's what I kind of love about you. You've taken risks, but you've taken people with you. You've opened doors to industries here in Indonesia. And now we're going to hear about a new door that I think over the years you've been working on. And now you've reached a point where it's out there, it's launched, it's part of the world, right? So probably the first question would be, if I would ask you, for the people here in the audience and people watching, what is Favors? What does it do? Why is that important now? What would you say?
Yeah, thank you so much for the introduction, and thank you also for hosting the event. Is it Gus? Is it?
It's all good.
It's good. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. So I'm very passionate about crowdsourcing, which is like more than just crowdfunding, which is the idea of collective intelligence and bringing ideas together, sharing ideas, and finding like-minded people to solve problems, right? So I've been passionate about this like for a long time, and now with the advent of AI, with so much information and so many ideas, and the advancement and speeding up of development, especially for digital products and digital solutions, I think we need to have a balance of bringing back like the humanity and like our own thinking and our own judgment, and not only relying on AI and so we've built a platform that is combining the intelligence and the power of the crowd together with using AI and trying to use the best of both worlds to yeah, maybe that's the
all right. Okay. So that's the beginning. We'll go a little bit deeper. So Favors, as you mentioned, you're combining the power of, let's say, human capital, potential, intelligence, connection with that which is technology, and bring them together. So maybe give us an example of the platform in action,
yes.
And by doing that, we'll give us an example
yes.
of what the platform does.
Yes. So we're using AI social listening to identify trends on social media, for example, on X, Reddit, or Product Hunt, Hugging Face, etc., Hacker News, on different platforms where people, and forums, public forums, where people discuss current problems and ideas on how to solve these problems. So there's like social media, and that's great, and people share their ideas. I want to create this AI agent, I want to create this micro SaaS, I want to create this extension or API, etc., and they just discuss it in their circle, and they also make it public, but there's no real way of then getting like real validation and real funding also. So we have the social media and the discussion on one side, right? On the other side of the spectrum, we have crowdfunding and crowd investing platforms. Like if you're familiar with Web3 blockchain, right? We have like different launch pads, and we have ICOs, IDOs, etc., all that kind of stuff. And then in Web2, we have crowdfunding platforms like Kickstarter, Indigo, or crowd investing like Republic or AngelList, etc. So we have this here, but these two are not really connected, right? So we have the social media, people share their ideas. Yeah, that would be great to have this, this application, this mini app, and then here people raise funds, sometimes like hundreds of thousands or millions, but they don't really have a validation and product market fit yet. So, and this is where we come in to bridge the gap between idea sharing and like simple feedback and funding, right? So, and how does it work? So we aggregate problems and ideas for solutions from social media. Let's say on Twitter, people talk about, oh, let's create an AI agent to summarize chats on WhatsApp, to give me the best updates and to create kind of like a mini CRM or something like this. And then if on social media people actually discuss this, they upvote this, they give feedback and so on, we aggregate this data on our platform and publish it there, aggregate it there, and then people can say, maybe then there's a developer who would say, this is great, let me do the proof of concept, but I want to get some more details. So the developer can say what conditions he would like to have met, what requirements he or she would need in order to go to the next step. Maybe initially he would say, I'd like to have like 20 feedbacks, qualitative feedbacks, answering, having people answer these 3 specific questions, and then I have a better idea of actually what the USP or what the main features this application should solve, right? Should have. And then also the developer can say, this is the rewards I would provide to everyone participating. So he could say, for whoever provides this feedback will get, $10 of credit for when the application comes out, right? So let's say, okay, he gets the feedback, he does the proof of concept or the initial design, the initial workflows, he has like more specifications, and then he could say, okay, that's great, let me go the next step, maybe I'll need like 5K to do the prototype. So he can say, okay, like whoever puts like between, $10 to $100 will get like 50% lifetime discount for the application, right? Or will get like an early badge icon or NFT or whatever it may be. So, and then, it really breaks down the development process and is a place to come from just like speculation about ideas to actual validation and feedback and funding. Yeah. So.
Got it. All right. So those 3 steps, right? So the first one, as you mentioned, is what is it? And the social listening scans and sees, okay, what is topical? Where's the pain point, right? Number 2 is that then you're bringing that opportunity onto your platform for people can see it and can support it. And then number 3 is that then, you're taking it to the next step, which I think I just actually said is number 2, but it's okay. The next step, which is then, right, so if I can get this done, this is what I'll need, and this is what you can get in return.
Yes.
So the interesting part is that, I love the way you said that you're aggregating and you're bringing together Web 2 and Web 3, because I can see both. Because when Web 3 is like, I enter, for one of the platforms, right? Let's say one of the ecosystems like Polygon, or where were we the other day? The party event that was Polkadot, right? The Polkadot ecosystem when it comes to grants, right? So I go to Polkadot saying, hey, I have this idea. Your platform, the ecosystem that you have would support this idea which I have. This is what it is. Am I able to get a grant to help me to facilitate it on your platform, right? So you've got all of this kind of on one platform. All right. So that's one use, right, which you've kind of specified. I think when we first spoke, it was around, for example, events, right? So what, by way of an example to the event industry and the functionality of it, could you give that relates again back to the events industry?
Yes, thank you. Great question. So, actually, to clarify, we're building the technology, and when you mention like SDK, APIs, composable modules, this is, we're building the technology that can be used in different niches and different industries for different use cases. So actually, we're building this, and then we're focusing also on events, because we're in the event space. We organized Web3 events in Bali, Jakarta, with our friends here, and then with some other friends, I have like event management software, and we have event ticketing software. So we have like different products, and so we're building this for different niches, and we're focusing on the events and also the AI agent space. So, but then anyone can actually use the technology we're developing for their own purposes. So, for example, if someone wanted to tokenize or validate different knowledges or different knowledge databases, or wanted to do like RWA, or wanted to do real world asset tokenization, and or wanted to do what could be like another thing like or micro SaaS in Japan, or whatever niche it would be, you could use our technology to do that. So basically like kind of like a co-branded crowdsourcing platform. And when you mentioned the Web 2 and the Web 3, actually we're like anyone can use us. You don't have to use like Web3, even though we'll be using also actually Polkadot in the background for technology, for like on-chain transparency, etc., etc. And the escrow milestone payment and payouts, so that. But anyone can use our application, Web 2 or Web 3. And then now I remember your question. Your question was about like events, right?
We were always going to get back there.
Yes.
We were working our way,
like,
coming back like a
yeah,
circle.
I wanted to. Yes, exactly. So, it's about risk mitigation for events. So there's like two major use cases. The first use case is I, as a fan of like a speaker or a musician, an artist, or a therapist, could say, I want to invite the speaker. Let's say I want to invite Vitalik from Singapore to Bali to talk about an event, right? Let's say I want him to talk about like ETH and AI, and then I could put this on our platform and then share it in my network, and other people could, give feedback and vote for it. And then if there's enough traction, then maybe, and then like Vitalik someone would make him aware of this, and then he would say, yeah, cool, if there's actually 200 people in Bali that would actually come, or if there's whatever requirement it would be, if I would get these requirements met, like hotel paid, flight paid, 10K, whatever, or whatever it may be, then I would actually come. So we make transparent the requirements that are there already, but maybe that are not known. So if for anyone that has organized events, very well there's like risk involved, and you need to book the venue. You have your like cancellation fee risks, etc., and you need to have enough participants early on. And you give like an early bird prize, and you do all of these things, but you're still like, do I get enough participants and so on? And so we're wanting to solve this problem by making the process that is happening anyways transparent, and allowing other people to share the responsibility, right? So then the event organizer could say, yeah, great, I would take the responsibility of actually inviting Vitalik to Bali. I would book the venue, etc., etc. But in order to actually commit to that, I would need at least like 100 of these 500 people committed to pay $100 per user and so on to go to the next step. So and then I as the host, as the event organizer, would have some security, some safety to go to the next step. And so this is one of the major use cases. And then on the other side, if I'm a speaker or a musician, I could say, for example, we have like one Indonesian speaker and business guru like Helmi Yahya, and he did Indonesia tour a few years ago, and I met him recently in Jakarta, and then he said, he would love to do a tour again, and he could use our application to share on his social media. I'd love to go to 24 cities in Indonesia to do a speaking tour about these topics, and wherever we get 100 signups in that city, I will come to that city as part of the tour, right? And then of course there would be like perks, maybe it would be like an early bird price, maybe it would be an additional additional like perks, like signed book, or like a meet and greet, selfie, etc. And one of our features that we have actually is like an integrated referral marketing leaderboard. So for each of those like campaigns or projects, the events or the development project, the organizer, the creator could say, like whoever invites like 5 people, would get like a signed book for that speaker, or whoever is in the top 5 of the leaderboard of inviting their friends will get a free ticket or lifetime access to this agent. So these different elements, these different features, like we've built that could be applied to the different cases. Yeah.
Got it. All right. So to summarize some of it, got it. So you've built this platform, this technology that has a multiplicity of uses, right? So on the one side, the technology that you've developed, and to get this far, you can basically hire out or loan out or white label. How does that part work? That technology for someone else to come in and use that solution for their own purposes, for their own business. Now, that part there, is there a financial model? Is it open source? How does it work?
Yeah, thank you. So actually, just to clarify, anyone can use our app. It's freemium. So you don't have to pay. You don't have to pay anything upfront or monthly. It's the same model as like most other platforms. So you can just like sign up for free. You can use it, and then we take like a transaction fee from when the money actually comes in and the project is a success.
Yeah. Thank you for that. All right. So that's one part. Boom. And then the other part, as you mentioned, you got this AI agent that you mentioned before, but the events industry is quite interesting because, again, we have some events people in the audience here as well, and me being one of those as well. So again, within that events kind of model, there's a few aspects to it. One aspect is the crowdsourcing or crowdfunding model. And another aspect to it is also, like how you can promote the event, right, to other people who would be interested in coming or being a part of it. And as you mentioned, being I didn't really say that well in the beginning, you're a master networker, right? You have this way of getting to the places and the people that you need to get to and securing their interests. You're actually very good at that, right? That's how Trade Expo Indonesia came over, and obviously the invitation to meet the president of Indonesia. But okay, so with that event side, are there any use cases, and if so, were there any learning points that you care to share with us to give us an idea of kind of how it's iterating as it goes?
Yes. So actually also, like if any of you or online, if anyone actually has like feedback on how to improve what we're doing, we're always open to feedback, because because there's like so many different like use cases and so many different users. So we're always like very open and eager to hear and learn, what you need. So it's like a lot of it is based like on feedback and what people need. So we've just actually the feature suite that we have is developed out of like building different applications and digitalizing or automating the workflows that actually happen, right? So for example, usually if there's an event or if you have an application that you're building, you share it with your friends, right, or your colleagues and your family, and then you ask for feedback and you ask them, like, what do you think, what should it have, and so on. Or you say, could you share this event in your network, right? And then maybe you have like an affiliate code, or if you say like your name, then you get like some discount, or if you get 5 people in, you get a free ticket and something like this. So these are processes that are happening anyways. and we've just like automated and digitalized them and built them in so that it's part of the platform and it's integrated. So yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, question coming in about 3 or 4 minutes, but hold that question, Davide. Okay, question Davide. So, all right, so we've been through the platform, we've been through what it does, we've been through a few use cases of where it's useful. You've mentioned the fact that, yeah, it's a technological product, so service. So it is about iterating, it is about feedback, and you're open to that. You mentioned that it's a freemium product or service, so therefore people can sign up for free, they can use it, and how you make money, how it's regenerative for you, the platform, is that then when it comes to being a success, then you'll take a percentage of that transaction fee, let's call it. Okay, got it. All right, so future-wise, is there anything that you're working on now, currently, to improve the platform, and are there any competitors to what you're doing?
Interesting. So, yes. So now, in terms of the developer side of the platform, like developing like AI agents, digital solutions, micro SaaS, mini SaaS, extensions, APIs, etc. We're right now starting to work with different technology providers, like in Web3, like different L1s and L2s, and we'll be working with like different AI companies and technology providers that provide credits and grants, and then we'll be and then we have one feature, we call it like challenge, that's still actually in development right now. That can be like an open call or an open request by an institution or by actually anyone to say, this is like a problem we have. And so, for example, Notion could say, we would love to have an extension to connect to ChatGPT plugin. I mean, now that's obsolete, but as an example. So, and then any developer could say, kind of like as on these like hackathon developer bounty websites, could say, oh great, I'd love to develop that, and then we facilitate that through our platform. And actually the blockchains especially, they're quite interested in this, because many times they provide the grants, and they, without having like any PMF or product market fit or any validation or proof of concept. So then using and integrating our platform, we can facilitate providing and approving these grants to the developers that actually have already proved traction. And I think this could be very interesting. And in terms of so this feature we call like challenge, and anyone can make like a challenge and like a problem statement and or a call for a solution, which could be provided with a reward or without a reward. So I could say, I'll provide 5K for anyone that develops this extension. Or I could say, I'd love to have, like, a Telegram bot for, I don't know, DeFi trading, this and that, or whatever it may be. And then you can just make this public statement or request without any reward, and people can, and you can see if there's any traction for it. So and we'll be working with different providers to provide so-called like micro grants, which could be like smaller in number, maybe like a few $100, $500, or maybe up to 5K, to kickstart the development of projects, especially like smaller digital solutions and mini and micro apps that are promising and have already proved some traction. So yeah.
Thank you, Brother Simon. So what we're going to do, Davide has the first question. So the microphone is with you. So if you pass it over here to our brother Davide. Davide, give me about a minute or so. So just we'll give Simon a bit of a break. Got a few things here I want to share with you. So 3 client events coming up. Bali's phenomenal. It's 3 international events bringing over 100 different nationalities to Bali. The first one, we had him on the show before. It's a Solution Digital Summit. It's the largest AI Commerce Revolution Summit being held in Nusa Dua Convention Center. So that's the 16th and 17th there for 2 days, 3,500 people. And then on the third day, it's an after party at Atlas. You can still get tickets, I think. So SDS, right? You can check online, SDS. They've got some of the best speakers in AI from around the world flying in to basically, give incredible knowledge. Then at the end of this week, so that's the 19th, 20th, and 21st, so that's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, is this one, which is the I Am Creation Summit. So that's 33 world-class speakers, phenomenal, change makers, leaders, how to elevate, how to master life in business, everyday life, right? And in communities, those three things. So that will be happening at the Maru in Sanur. So that's the 19th, 20th, and 21st. I'll also be speaking there and doing some interviews with some of these incredible leaders. And then the final one, which ideally will be on the show next week. Let's see. So that one is the Genius Future Summit. Now, Genius Future Summit, one of the featured speakers is Stephen Bartlett. And as you know, Stephen Bartlett, very famous guy, incredible podcast, Diary of a CEO, and another bunch of incredible platforms that you obviously know here. So that will be on the 2nd and 3rd of October. It will happen in Nuanu. All right, and right now we have a special discount of 50% on the general ticket, which is $47. So 50% of that, 147. 50% of that, and the VIP to meet and greet with Stephen Bartlett, which will be phenomenal, $11.47, so 50% of that. These are early bird tickets, which again, just get in touch with us here, Speak Up Monday, or see me afterwards. I'll put you in touch with the code that gets you that incredible deal. So these are three extremely powerful events in this field of, again, technology, and I call it human technology in the case of, I Am Creation Summit to keep your eyes out from. So tonight's episode, we're with Simon here, Smaluhn. We're talking about AI. We're talking about crowdsourcing, crowdfunding, and how AI is being used by favors in a way that brings together technology and the human technology together in order to make a phenomenal opportunity and a wonderful regenerative model. Questions time is now, so we have Brother Davide who has the first one. By the way, before we do that, questions, a bit of protocol. It's okay to plug yourself and what you're doing, no worries, but as fast as you can, please get to your question so we can fit more value in for everyone. Davide, over to you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Just wait for Guzman to mic you up. Did you push the button? With the mics, no pushing buttons. Just in case. Yeah, great.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you very much, Simon, for being part of Speak Up Monday. My name is Davide. I'm an experienced conference producer. I do conferences B2B. So they're very, very niche. So I don't do personal development and mass conference attendance. So I'm looking for very specific job titles. I'm sure you thought of this because you have a shopping cart for conferences, correct? You have a shopping cart for...
So we do actually have like 3 separate applications.
Right.
One is like venue and event management software, Seminar Desk. Another one is event ticketing.
Right.
And another one is this application.
Okay.
Yeah.
Event ticketing in my language is shopping cart.
Yeah.
For events.
Yes, correct.
Okay,
correct.
good. Right. So let's say I want to launch a new conference. And this is very new. Everybody's on LinkedIn. How would those people join your app? Because I can find those people on LinkedIn. So how would they join your app and, participate in giving some money because they want to help a new conference, let's say on Balinese furniture, which is very specific. I find that is going to be perhaps a key challenge. 1, 2, how long do I have to wait before those people join your app or application? And 3, maybe my B2B events are not for your app, which is fair enough. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So one thing is, you can either, or anyone can either use our platform directly, and we've also developed APIs so you can integrate it into, because especially like for bigger events for our clients that have like tens of thousands of like participants, etc., we have APIs and you can integrate it either into like your CMS. So we have, for example, like WordPress plugin, etc., and we also have like different APIs so you can directly integrate it into your process, so that that you can use your own payment processors or ours, etc. So it could be like customized. So that is one thing. So because especially like bigger conferences and bigger event organizers and venues, they don't want to have send the people to like a different platform. So that's one thing. Another thing is that what we're providing is not like the promotion or marketing service, but only like the platform and the technology, right? So, for example, if you or anyone would say, we'd like to create like this conference about furniture in Bali, then you could create that on our platform, and then we would have like the integrated like payment processing, the referral code, the escrow milestones, the different perks like on other crowdfunding or platforms. Integrated with like ticketing, payment, QR code, check-in, like all of the other stuff. So it's like all integrated, and then the event organizer could go to like LinkedIn and then share the code or the direct link there, the referral link there. But I think it's a great idea to actually integrate with LinkedIn, potentially. I think that's a very good idea. I should note this down. Yeah. I don't know if that's answered your question or yes.
Just to quickly, thanks, Davide. And we have another Davide who's going to ask a question very soon. One of the companies which is going to be on the show soon, we're working out the date. They're called Sonigo, Sonigo, Sonigo. Right. So part of the service that they offer, and I'm one of the guinea pigs, maybe not the right word, but you know what I'm saying, is they do LinkedIn outreach. So maybe, combining with a company like that, and they're able to really ratchet it down to the specificity of what you require for that person to be perhaps interested in attending that event in Bali about furniture. So maybe something like that, a strategic partnership might be a possibility there that then gives you that connection without having to reinvent the wheel. David, over to you. Mind that, my darling. Good catch, by the way. That great reflexes. He's on my team. I'm choosing you for reflexes. Last week, a light actually, but very soft on the skin. It was okay. David, over to you. The mic will come in a second because we need to switch it on. You pushed the button, didn't you? Oh, it was Davide.
Hello? Oh, there it is.
There you go.
Amazing.
Blame the Italian. Did I just do that on camera? I think I did. I apologize.
I blame the technology. Hey, Simon. I'm just here. This is a great development on everything. It's good to hear about all this. I'm just mostly curious about some stuff. I love the product market fit validation strategy for that. One of the questions I have about that, just from a business strategy point of view, is the demographic, or even one of the, if you're validating tech products and people who are actually using Telegram, mini apps, things like that. Of course. Fantastic. My question is beyond that. Obviously, there's a massive scale for product validation across all kinds of products. Presumably, your demographic who's using your app, who can understand how to use your app, would be mostly that tech demographic. Do you have plans or an ability to kind of scale? Like if I want to validate, recipe book for Basque cheesecake recipes in Norway or something like that, and for housewives in their 60s, that's probably not your typical tech demographic. Do you have ways of branching out and getting access to sort of a wide range of demographics, or are you sort of focused on the people who are already in the blockchain world?
Yeah, thank you. So So we're focusing on what we're focusing on, but we're providing the technology for other people that have, some commitment and a little bit of technical knowledge, but we could support them with that to build their own branded platform, niche platform. So, if you're in.
But they could reach out to their, for example, they could reach out to their own mailing lists or Facebook
basically
groups
create their own favors for their ecosystem and then for their niche, using all the technology we've developed and create their branded niche platform.
But then they have to find the market to research themselves.
Yes. And if maybe in 10 years we're also focusing on that market.
Fast cheesecake is a growing market right now.
Yes.
I was going to say, is there a way to do validate pricing and things like that? And that's a big thing people are looking for, early stage companies figuring out, what the price needs to be, what the range of price needs to be. It's a really important part of any kind of, can you adapt it for using that as well?
You mean if you could validate the pricing question?
I have a new product. I think it should be $10. My partner thinks it should be $20. We don't know. What's the most you'd pay for this? What's a cheap price? I mean, that's a big part of any kind of product launch.
Yes. So there we actually have two things, how you could kind of get feedback or validate those. The first one is you could create kind of perks in different prices, or set your price a sliding scale, and then see at which price point people actually buy or pre-buy or the product when you're pre-selling it. That is one. The other one is you could use our integrated feedback reward feature, kind of a quest feature, where you could state a question, what would the could the price be, and so on. So these are two ways.
I think in America there may be rules now around not being able to change prices, doing that kind of. I think you have to charge one price for everybody, I think, but I'm not sure if I haven't lived there in a while. I did have a thought also, just because I think this works against a lot of our interests, but it might be really good for you. If you're talking, what you said about the problem that VC groups or funders or anybody has around, or grant givers from the blockchains around, there's no product market fit, there's no validation. I mean, you could probably have a couple, backdoor meetings with them to almost make that a requirement, to use your services requirement. Have you started monopolizing them a little bit like that?
Not yet,
the spirit of
but
things,
it's a great thought.
So
and
I told you I'm working the dark side.
Yes, no. Actually, we have someone in Thailand, and I've met up with him, and he has a lot of VC and investor connections, and a lot of and angels that want to invest early into tech products. So I think down the road it could be very interesting for especially angels and VCs that invest in early stage, to look at what we're doing.
Either they could, it's nice for you because they get a guaranteed customer in them. They're the ones paying for it, or they force if you want to apply for a blockchain grant for XYZ blockchain, you have to dump the $50 or $100, whatever it is, to you guys to do a validation service that's of a certain number.
Brother Dave, you always bring the gold with you, brother. The gold. So what we're going to do though, we're going to pass some of that gold. Does anyone else have any questions over here? Now, is everyone following? Because I know that again, this is episode, it is 492. I had to check. Come on, Robbie. The brain is still intact. So here's the thing, every episode is different. And, tonight is obviously, there's a few more great people like Dave. Actually, it's the Dave show, Dave and Davide, which are very technical. And obviously, there's Lewis here and a few others. But here's the thing, we try to ensure that it's accessible as we possibly can for everybody. Because again, if I'm the non-smartest guy in the room, if I can understand it, then everyone can understand it. And that's a good thing, right? Unless I'm very specific in the target that I'm after. So my question to you then, Simon, is when you're explaining this to people and what you're doing and what you set out to do and how you're doing it, where do people get stuck? Where do they get stuck understanding what it is that Favors does? Over the years, you've been around us for a long time. So what would be, if someone would get stuck with understanding what Favors does, what is the most common place where people get stuck, and how do you create the solution? How do you let them know what it actually is?
Yeah, one differentiation is we're not like the marketing agency. We're just providing the platform. Another thing is the technology. So it's like a set of tools you can use. and you can use whichever tools you need, right? So we have the ticketing and the QR check-in, etc., for the events. And then, if you're like blockchain development, then we have a different set of tools. So that's and then it's basically just like for anyone that has an idea of doing something and that wants to do it and share it with others and get feedback and get and pre-sell the idea, right? So that's like a very maybe simple broken down. That's the core. That's the core, I guess.
Do you understand? Raise your hand up if you understand. Right? Raise your hand up if you don't understand. Okay. So good. So where is it? Where are you going to start? Can you pass the microphone, Dave? Yeah, just pass that microphone across. You just throw it. Yeah, throw it as well. Thank you, Brother Lewis. I'm interested, right? Because again, it's great feedback, and Dave provided great feedback. Davide provided great feedback, and now we have feedback number 3. Yeah.
I understand what you're trying to do is something like maybe product hunt or something like that. What I don't understand is why does it need a blockchain? And I went to your website. Why does it need a token? So I don't get that.
Yes, thank you. So so this one is for. So actually, in terms of the users, like if I'm like a buyer or if I'm a backer or if I'm a developer, you actually don't need to use blockchain actually. So it's not like I have to use like blockchain and Web3, and the funding can be actually on-chain and off-chain. So it can be fiat and it can be crypto as well. So that is one thing. So it's a great question. So. And then the token comes into play because it's now less, but over time will be more and more like decentralized, and that and will be more like, let's say, DAO governed in the future and community governed in the future, and some of the proceeds of the transaction fees will be going to buy back like the token. So there's like SEC regulated and approved. So that's kind of like sharing the idea and having the ownership shared with the community, and also having the community actually then propose and decide on ideas of the development and where it should lead. So and then as a holder of the token, then you would receive the benefits of the success of the platform in different ways, and also have like voting power on where you think it should go in terms of development and marketing.
One of the things which you mentioned earlier on, and thank you so much for the question, brother, and being
thank you, yes,
and being honest. Love that. One of the questions. There's 2 other aspects to what you do. Seminar desk. So can you explain those other 2? Because Davide, that was a great point. I think it's relevant that people, especially in the events world, understand the history that you've actually had and what you've actually done so far. Because it's quite important.
Yeah. So I've been in like all kinds of different roles in the events industry. I mean, obviously participant, and then speaker and event organizer and facilitator, and like different roles, and I've organized and co-organized a lot of events. And invited different speakers from abroad, like when I was still like in Germany or when I lived in different countries in Asia. We invited teachers from abroad. So and then came the idea up of this crowdsourcing events. So and then Seminar Desk is like an event and venue management B2B Web2 SaaS. So our customers are event centers and learning centers, education centers, retreat centers, meditation centers, yoga centers, like that, that use it to, at the core of their organization, to manage their whole events business as well as their accommodation business. So we differentiate ourselves by not being like a hotel management software, because hotel management means you can book the rooms directly and they're like automatically paid, automatically reserved, and so on. So if you're an education or a retreat event center, then you need like more customization and so on. So yeah, so you have like event management and payment and invoicing and speaker management and schedules and cleaning and certificate printing certificates and connecting to your POS and to your newsletter service. So we have like APIs you can connect to MailChimp, etc. So everything you can connect to all your areas of business. And what Seminar Desk is doing is managing the event side and the catering side and the accommodation side. Yeah.
How long have you been doing Seminar Desk?
So that's we officially incorporated in 2018, but it's been developed like some time before. And and our clients are and this we're mostly in Europe, like Germany, Austria, Switzerland, France. So but we it's nowadays fairly easy to translate the interface into Bahasa or any other language. But we just haven't focused yet on the market outside of Europe. So that's Seminar Desk, yes. And then we have like favors.id. It's like favors.id, which is like not only Indonesian, but we focus a little bit on Indonesia, and it's like an event ticketing platform. Like other competitors, and but also customizable. So, and we have like an affiliate program inside, and we have like more custom features. It's not as advanced in terms of like event management as Seminar Desk, but we have some more advanced features that our clients, and especially Web3 clients and blockchain event organizers, have asked us to develop. And so that's separate. And then we have the crowdsourcing platform. And the cool thing is, we can integrate the different things. So we've created, for example, like an API for an NFT platform that is doing like, in a specific sector in Indonesia, like sports events, and they created like NFTs with like famous players, and so they're using actually our technology in the background through APIs for like their event ticketing and the payments and all of that stuff. So so we're actually in the background also of some other applications.
Love it. And look, so as we begin to kind of come to a close, maybe there's a few things. So number one, if there's any more questions, feel free over here, maybe feel free to raise your hand in the next minute or so. But maybe the last two questions that come up for me is, could I know you, right? Know part of you. Over the years, again, I see you as being very determined, very resilient, left brain, very organized, but it's a thing about not giving up. That's what, when I look at you, that's what I'm reminded of most strongly as a value, as a part of you, which I think is a recipe of your success, is that you just keep on going. If there's a wall, you go through it. If there's a piece of wood, you go through it. If there's it's like a river, you swim across it, even if it's shark infested. You just keep going, right? So without leading you too much, meaning I've led you too much already, but if I would ask you, like when it comes to success, number one, like how do you define success for yourself? Right? Number one. And then number two, what has been the most important ingredient to your success that you see that you're proud of? What would you say?
So the first question,
definition of success.
Definition of success. I mean, for me, it's if I can live more and more in harmony with my principles and values and do activities that I enjoy, that contribute to my own and other people's well-being. So even if it's like, software company or something like this, if it helps people and, it saves them time and money and stress and so on, and it helps them organize their events and so on. And I myself can contribute to that and enjoy the process of that whole happening in harmony with my values more and more. I think that would be success. I think. I don't know. Maybe that's, I don't know. And the second question. What was the second question?
Value or contribute
Oh, yes. I think I would say like intuition and then following that intuition, which many times I don't do. I hear it, I sense it, and I'm like, and then I get distracted. So like listening to intuition, following intuition, and then and that I think is somehow weirdly, if we differentiate inside and outside world or so, in the outside, if we say, I sense like some intuition, and in the seeming outside world, maybe there's some opportunities or some people and some circumstances happening that are like aligning, and then spontaneously acting on that, and knowing there is something, and then following that, and so I think that it's like the combination of like listening and trusting, following intuition with the right circumstances coming in and flowing with that, which I'm not very good at, but the few times where I'd say it's been the little success I've had, I think is somewhat based on that, and if I I would love to do that more, but
step by step. The penultimate question, right? So we're here in Indonesia, and you and I have had various conversations over the years about this, though I haven't asked you on camera about it before, I don't think, but this show is called SpeakuP Monday, Destination Indonesia, right? So the Destination Indonesia part, I'm looking at Erica. I think of tourism. I'm looking at Erica. The Destination Indonesia part is that, over the years, what I've seen, my wife is Indonesian, as you know. Our kids are half Indonesian, half Australian, and another half English. How that works out, I have no idea, because it's 1.5 people. Over the years, what I've seen here and what I've learned has been phenomenal. And I won't go into that for this episode, but it's the principles, the philosophies, the people, the awareness, the capability, like gotong royong, right? Again, I said I wouldn't go into it too much, but I still am. I can't help myself. So, when you look back, because you've led Indonesian teams, you've worked with Indonesians, you've created opportunities for Indonesians to come through, and we also understand that it's always an exchange, right? So what I give, I also receive, right? So again, the things which I've learned in Indonesia are some of the best principles that I've learned in my life, right? And again, so it's this contribution mindset. So there's a question in here somewhere. So the question then is that if I ask you, for those people, Destination Indonesia, watching the show now, getting a direct input from you, what would you say, have been, some of the highest highs about working here in Indonesia? Number one. And then number two is, when you look back, what value is the most important one that you feel that you've have got that's allowed you to rise in Indonesia, because you have risen a lot, right? That's the two-part question.
So what I've learned, especially here, and what I see, the opportunities that I especially see here in Indonesia.
Well, you can add that one on, but and again, I deliberately phrase it that way because then it takes people out of their thoughts.
Yes,
like
yes.
they're trying to think too much. It's what comes up for you. So one part of it was, what have you learnt in Indonesia, which is something which is, as I've learnt these principles, like gotong royong and so on. Number two, or the second part to that is, what is the best value that you've had that you feel has allowed you to rise in Indonesia?
Yeah, I think coming here and living here, like I'm a very like introverted person, I think, even though I enjoy being with people when I'm outside. So I think being here and connecting to people and to communities and to you and to many other friends, especially in the Web3 space and the AI space now, is going out and working with other people and trying things out, and Yeah, I don't know if that sounds too like simple or obvious.
Symbol's okay.
Yes. Yeah, and also I see part of my team is actually, I think, over there.
I saw them
over
walk.
there.
I saw them walk. They had this look on their face
yes,
like, I'm late.
yes. So yeah, it's also like I mean, working with like great, dedicated, creative people. So yeah, which is also like very pleasurable, you know, working with people that have, you know, that share the vision, share the goals, are creative, you know, self-determined, and yeah. And I think there's in Indonesia, I mean, with such a huge population, very technology interested, very, you know, youthful, open-minded, very, you know, eager to learn and build and try out new things in technology. I think there's like a great opportunity here in terms of business, and in terms also of like experimentation and trying out, you know, business ideas, because I think you will get like very like fast feedback, and yeah.
So why I'm smiling, right, is because that's a beautiful answer, right? It wasn't the question, but it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, I forgot the question also.
No, but it doesn't matter, because, and that's the point, like, because part of being on this show, as you know, is, you know, it's social impact as well. And, you know, a lot of the time there's questions that come up because we don't rehearse any of this, it's all in flow. And sometimes there's a question during the episode that causes you to search, right? And you might struggle a little bit, but then in the next few days, the answers begin to flow in about that question, and that's a gift for you, right? The other part of this is that, again, I know how I see you, but I'm interested to see how you see yourself. And this is the final question. So when it comes to maybe people looking on camera, they're living in Germany, right? They're thinking about, I don't want to live in Germany anymore. I'm thinking about Indonesia. Maybe I'm thinking about Bali. So that question then is around like, what value, which another way of asking the question is, what value do you think or feel is the most important value? It can be two. Let's say for a German coming to Bali or coming to Indonesia to have success.
Yes.
What would that be?
Yes. I mean, one would be obviously to be like open-minded and to be flexible, you know, in terms of, I mean, if we look at the traffic here, it's very different than in Germany, and to be like very adaptive, and also to understand that I think people here are maybe more, you know, feeling and intuitive. I don't know, and to flow with that. And also in terms of like business meetings, I mean, as it is in Asia, you know, in most countries here, it's like maybe in Germany it would be like more straightforward. You would directly say, I like this, I don't like this, you know, and, you know, let's do it, let's not do it, you know, like we don't need to see each other again. We're very straightforward, we can be. And I think here, you know, the culture is a little bit different, you know, and you meet and you connect, and a lot happens through like connections, and yeah. So that's one thing that comes to my mind. Yeah,
love it. And look, how do people get in touch with you? So we've spoken tonight, obviously, about favors,
yes.
right?
So yeah, I think the easiest way would be Telegram. Like my name, Simon Favors, in Telegram. That would be the easiest way to reach out.
Right. Everybody, we're coming to the end of the show. Thank you for Brother Guzman. Thank you for coming, the audience. I really appreciate you. And obviously, thank you again, Simon, for being a guest. And I know those last questions always, he knows me. He knows me. So it's like, it was all like this. I thought, you know what? Throw in the curveball. But you did very well, because at the end of the day, it's about who you are. And that's what people want to see. That's what I love to bring out in my guests. And thank you very much indeed, mate. Round of applause, everyone. See you next week. Thanks, mate.